I think a lot of us get our peace constantly disturbed from trying to constantly be in control, trying to constantly control our outcomes, our results, what other people think of us, other people's opinions, whether people understand us or not, our ability to adapt in life, whether we try and make everything familiar, whether we feel the need to always react and give energy to certain things. Your peace will come from you deciphering and you determining what is and isn't worth your energy. When you constantly value certain things that don't really need to be valued, when you constantly react to certain things that don't exactly need a reaction, then you will constantly catch your state in itself of being stressed out, constantly feeling the need to defend yourself, or constantly feeling the need to respond or try and control an outcome. When it comes to peace, I feel like I've learned what is and isn't worth my energy, and that's allowed me to protect my peace in so many different ways. A lot of people always refer to me as like a calm person, or a person they feel they could just talk to and isn't going to get loud, isn't going to be defensive, isn't going to react to every certain thing. A lot of people ask me like, how are you so calm? And I think that's because I grew up in a very chaotic environment, and just like seeing people yell over things that didn't need to be yelled over, like, and just like jumping to, okay, there's this problem, or there's this issue, or this is situation, what can I do about it? I think that has to be your perspective towards life in general. Bad things are going to happen to you. Pain is going to happen to you. People are going to treat you in ways in which you don't deserve to be treated. But I think it's all about how you choose to respond to that situation that matters the most. And that's what's going to help you to keep your peace the most. A lot of people see people be wrong about them. A lot of people see people voice their opinions about them or feel some type of way about them. And they feel the need to go explain themselves, go prove themselves, go convince people that they are this other specific way and that they're wrong about them, or get defensive and say, nah, your opinion's wrong, or nah, what you believe isn't right. They always feel the need to react. They always feel the need to respond. And I think when you learn to understand and let people just be as they are and not feel the need to always correct people, let people believe whatever they want to believe, and let people make their own choices and decisions, even if it's not what you agree with, then you'll have so much more peace in life. Because there's just certain things where it's like it's going to happen, and you have to learn to just get through it and get over it. Like it does you nothing to really sit here and complain. It does you nothing to go out and talk down upon other people. It does you nothing to sit here and say what you deserve or express that it's unfair what happened to you. And in certain moments, at certain times, it is appropriate to do those things, but at other times it's just like a waste of time, in my opinion. And I protect my peace by just jumping to, how can I move forward? I have a very great relationship with God, to where I see things where it's like, okay, God, what are you trying to teach me right now? God, give me the strength to get through this situation, having the trust within myself to figure certain things out, because people are going to do certain things to you that aren't in your control. Certain outcomes and certain results and certain situations are going to pop up. It could be something that's money, it could be an injury, it could be so many different things, people passing away in your life. And it's just a matter of, how can I get through this? Like, what's the step I need to take? I think a lot of us constantly give attention to every little bump that happens, every little unfortunate thing that happens, or every little undesirable circumstance that's like pops up in our life. Those are just like inevitable things that are going to happen. And when you learn to just like learn how you're going to move forward with them and not stop your entire life or put it on pause to be like, I don't deserve this, why is this happening to me, why is my life seeing me going to shit, that's where you'll learn to just like learn how you can move forward. Like water in a river, there's rocks in it, and you have to learn to adapt to those rocks. Like, water doesn't stop flowing, it just casually grooves over each rock. It adapts to whatever rock is in its way and finds a way to get through it or go by it. And that's how you kind of have to move about going through life. And I know a lot of this is easier said than done, but sometimes that's just the reality and the mindset that you have to have towards certain things. I think a lot of us have this mindset where we want to keep everything familiar, or want to keep everything the same, or want to constantly stay attached to certain things, and we're unwilling to adjust to life to the point that it creates chaos in our life. It creates a sense of suffering. It disturbs our peace because we're trying so hard to control the things out of our our control. It could just be simply us needing to change our ways and in order to grow ourselves as a person. It could be simply us being willing to let certain people go on our life and not constantly trying to hang on to everybody that was once in our life, constantly trying to convince people to see us in a certain way, constantly trying to prove our worth to certain people, or even just wanting everybody to be like you. I think a lot of us spend so much time in a defense mode, constantly trying to defend our belief, constantly trying to defend why we are the way we are, and not being open to change, not being open to other people not understanding us. We all have a story behind us. We all have a reason behind why we are the way we are, but not everybody's gonna understand that story. Not everybody's gonna understand a life that they've never lived. Some people will never understand where you're coming from until they experience it for themselves. And I think a lot of us give so much energy constantly trying to prove where we're coming from, constantly trying to get people to understand us, constantly trying to make people see life from the perspective in which we see it. This can go back to my video on outgrowing people and how trying to constantly change people into somebody they're not ready to be, constantly trying to change people into somebody that they're simply not, really just disturbs your peace, because then you put your life on pause trying to bring people with you that don't care to come with you. Everybody has to go through their own experience of life. Everybody has to go through their own journey in which they go through things, feel certain things, experience certain things, and they say, okay, now I've realized I need to make a change in this area of my life. Now I've realized I need to lock in or become more serious on these various different, or on this specific thing within myself. And that can even go towards our values. I think a lot of times we have to question the things in which we value and if they're even worth valuing in the first place. A lot of us value other people's opinions. I think when you learn to really reevaluate your values and ask yourself, does this really matter? And ask yourself, why do I even care about this in the first place? And then uncover or heal whatever aspect of yourself is making you even care about that situation at all. You'll catch yourself a lot more at peace. When it comes to me, I understand myself so well. And so when people voice their opinions, people try to tell me what's best for me, people try to tell me what I need to be doing with my life, it doesn't really affect me, or it doesn't really put me in this mental turmoil or this mental state where it's I'm suffering, because it's I understand who I am at the end of the day. I understand that not everybody's going to understand that perspective. Not everybody's going to understand where I'm coming from. Not everybody's going to understand the vision I have for myself. And I protect my peace even more by not trying to convince them of otherwise. Allowing people to believe what they believe, allowing people to be wrong if they're going to be wrong. Because a real big turning point in my life was when I really questioned my values and why I was even living my life a certain way. Why I was trying to go after people's validation, why I was trying to have specific people in my life, why I was going after certain goals or going to school for this specific reason. I started actually questioning things, why I was getting upset or angry in certain situations that wasn't even worth me getting angry or upset in. It could just be something simple as my decision to go to school, or my decision to value having a lot of women in my life, or having a specific amount of followers on Instagram, or whether my video got this specific amount of views and what judgment other people will have of me, or whether other people would think I'm good enough, or whether I was capable of growing my YouTube video or growing my YouTube channel or something like that. Truly just questioning why do I care for the validation of others? Why do I care about all these various different things that aren't that big of a deal? At the end of the day, again, certain things just aren't in your control, and all you could do is choose how you're going to handle that present moment, how you're going to respond to that adversity, how you're going to respond to that challenge, and truly move forward in life. It could be as simple as how you're reacting in traffic. You could either see that as an opportunity to listen to music, or you could see it as an opportunity to just sit there and complain the whole ride about how you're going to be late. At the end of the day, one choice is going to keep you relaxed. It's going to have you making the most of the moment and of the most of a bad situation, making a negative situation and turning it into a positive one, or it's going to have you sitting here suffering, constantly complaining, having this high energy and this high amount of stress on your mind. Some things just aren't worth what you usually given to them. Some things you just have to learn to accept that it is what it is, and I just have to make the most out of the situation. You know, in certain moments, people are gonna leave your life. In certain moments, you're going to have pain. In certain moments, you're gonna have to overcome a challenge in order to accomplish a thing in which you want to accomplish for yourself. And you have to learn to just see this reality of your life and say, okay, I just gotta go through this pain sometimes. Sometimes I gotta sit there and cry. Sometimes I gotta sit there and journal it out. Sometimes I just gotta go through the emotions of accepting the fact that, hey, my expectation wasn't met, or I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve, or I fell short of my own expectation, or I didn't reach my goal or something like that. Like, sometimes you just have to see things as, okay, this is happening. I have to go through what's happening. I have to accept what's happening. I have to feel everything that's happening. And then once I feel everything, go back to the drawing board. What's the lesson that can be learned from here? How can I improve myself? And then what can I do differently the next time to possibly get a better outcome for myself? Or what do I need to do in order to move forward from the situation? You know, sometimes it's a matter of just taking that first step. You know, a lot of us get caught up in different feelings and like feeling pain and feeling suffering. And we rather just sit in it rather than figure out how to get out of it. You know, a lot of us have stopped growing ourselves because we've given up on becoming something more, because we no longer care to feel or care to go through the challenges or the different emotions or the different struggles that it takes to become something more. You know, unfortunately, and it's not fair, but sometimes life is just gonna life, and it's not gonna go the way you want it to go, and it's gonna have you go through some really tough things that you don't necessarily want to go through, or that things that you never even asked for, things that you could argue you don't deserve. And sometimes you just have to like say, okay, I just gotta go through this. I gotta take this day by day. I'm capable of getting through this. This isn't something I can't handle. This isn't a situation or a hard time that I haven't had to handle in the past. You know, again, some things are just inevitable. Some things are going to present itself in unfortunate circumstances or at unfortunate times and inconvenient times. And you have to really just learn to not make it as big of a deal as you usually do, because that's when your whole mental goes to whack. That's when you cause your own suffering. That's when your peace gets disrupted, because you're not able to adapt and just flow with life, but instead you rather always want things your way and become attached to things always going your way. But you know, yes, at times people are going to leave your life. At times you're going to have to go through a great amount of pain that you don't necessarily even deserve. At times people are going to be wrong about you. At times you're going to hurt other people's feelings. At times you're going to have to face challenges you didn't necessarily want to face. But those are all just inevitables of life, that it only matters how you choose to respond to them. That actually matters. But I appreciate you guys for tuning into the video. Hope you learned a thing or two. I was kind of just freestyling with this video and just kind of going with the flow and getting things off my chest a little bit. But appreciate you guys. Hope be sure to join up on the Discord as well as sign up for one-on-one coaching down in the description. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.